to my second progress video for my Bachelor of Technology final year project. To remind, my project is based on game-based CAPTCHA. In the previous progress video, we saw different versions of CAPTCHA and how their implementation worked. In this progress video, we shall expand our knowledge of CAPTCHA by learning more about the NIM game, also which was discussed in the previous progress video, and the technologies which can be used to create a CAPTCHA or a CAPTCHA game. Let us start with further explaining upon the NIM game. In the previous progress video, we covered a game known as NIM, which was a mathematical strategy game that can be used to differentiate between humans and computers. The game rules are very simple. There are just 3 rules. There are 2 players. Each player takes their turn by removing a matchstick from the same row. The last player to remove a matchstick is the winner. Now let us elaborate on this game by playing a round of NIM. Let's assume that we have 2 imaginary players, Franklin and Michael, and let us start the game. So in the start of the game, the matchsticks are arranged as follows. From the rules, it can be seen that only matchsticks from one of these 3 rows can be removed at a time. Let us elaborate further. In the first round, let's say it is Franklin's turn. Franklin decides to take 2 matchsticks from row 1, leaving the status as follows. Then, Michael takes 3 matchsticks from row 3. Then Franklin takes 1 matchstick from row 2. Michael takes 1 matchstick from row 2. Franklin takes 1 matchstick from row 1. Now, after this 1 matchstick is removed, row 1 is completely empty. Next, Michael takes 1 matchstick from row 2. Franklin takes 1 matchstick from row 3. And there is 1 matchstick remaining, which is taken by Michael. Therefore, after Michael removes the second to last matchstick, it is Franklin's turn, and Franklin has just 1 matchstick to remove from the board. After Franklin removes that matchstick from the board, Franklin is the winner of the game. This kind of a game can be played with a bot and a user to determine if the user is a human or a program trying to misuse or exploit web services. Now let us go over some of the software technologies that can help to make CAPTCHA games. Now, from progress video 1, we know that CAPTCHA tests were designed to be performed for web-based applications and services. Therefore, CAPTCHA tests have to be such that they should easily be able to be implemented on the web. For example, they should be able to execute in any popular web browser such as Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Opera, etc. And they have to be fast in loading so that it doesn't take up a lot of the user's time. For this, web programming languages such as HTML and JavaScript can be used. If animations are required, for example in game-based CAPTCHAs, HTML5, which is a more recent technology, can be used. Let us further elaborate upon each of these software technologies such as HTML, JavaScript, and HTML5. Let's first look at JavaScript. Let us start with JavaScript. JavaScript, also known as JS, is a programming language that can be used to design web services and applications. JS is most popularly used alongside HTML and CSS. Most modern web pages use JS in some way or form. Furthermore, most modern web browsers contain the libraries and resources required to run JavaScript code. Now let us look at HTML and HTML5. HTML or Hypertext Markup Language is the standard markup language for web pages. HTML5 is a sort of extension or development of HTML with the capability to structure and present content on web browsers. In other words, HTML5 is an updated version of the original HTML with the capability to add animations and graphics to the web page. Now let us look over CAPTCHA security. For CAPTCHA tests to be useful, they should not be able to be breached. In other words, they should not be able to be solved by a program or a bot. There are several methods that can be used to breach a CAPTCHA test, however. To prevent this from happening, appropriate techniques or ideas should be implemented so that the attackers or the user who wants to breach the security of CAPTCHA cannot do it as easily. An example of CAPTCHA security attacks is a random guessing attack. Random guessing attack or brute forcing is a method that can be used to cheat on a CAPTCHA test. In other words, the user implements a script to randomly try solutions and hopes that one of the solutions is correct. When the solution is correct, the CAPTCHA is completed. In modern systems and modern computers which run at high speeds, thousands of answers can be implemented in a second or so. This can make cracking CAPTCHAs a matter of a few seconds. To prevent this, appropriate measures must be applied. A method that can be used is implementing a try limit. In other words, this means that if a wrong answer is entered a number of times, the CAPTCHA test is reset and the user has to start all over again. For example, a CAPTCHA test, let's say, has 3 tries. If a user enters 3 wrong answers in a row, the test will reset and they will have a new test. This can help to mitigate the random guessing attacks on CAPTCHA. Now let us look at another aspect of CAPTCHA security, which is artificial intelligence. As we know, artificial intelligence is on the rise these days and is developing very quickly. Therefore, most CAPTCHA methods which are used today, such as CAPTCHA reCAPTCHA developed by Google in 2007, will be obsolete in another few years, maybe by 2028 or 2029, because bots will be easily able to figure them out using artificial intelligence and machine learning. An example of these are text-based CAPTCHAs, which can be reached by a bot. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Hope you have a nice day.